Have you ever been severely disappointed by a landlord upselling an apartment by painting over the mold? Perhaps you've had your security deposit taken away from you after the roof was collapsed and you were blamed for it. Or have you ever been so desperate for a rental that you end up getting scammed on Facebook Marketplace?
Nice. What else is coming?
What's going on, party people? How are you all doing? And today I want to talk about the landscape of finding an apartment to rent, because I will admit it's a nightmare. I'm currently in the process for it, and let me tell you something. It's been insane trying to find a place to live. Here's an example. We called up this apartment. It was great. It was a $2,400 one-bedroom apartment downtown. So we call the building manager and we say, hey, we want to come check out this apartment. You know, the $2,400 one-bedroom apartment you've got. And they said, oh, we've got a promotion happening at the moment. And we said, promotion? Tell us more about that. And then the building manager proceeded to tell us, yeah, so it's $2,400 for the first 8 months. And then after that, it's $2,700 a month. I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't sound like a promotion to me. I don't think they understand how promotions work at all, because it sounds like they're about to be promoted and we're about to get fucked financially. I feel like at some point in our lives, we end up in a bad rental, whether it's through housemates or we just find a place that we want to live in while we're at university or college and we don't have that much money to spare. And you got to make some compromises, but some listings that I have found online makes you wonder, what on earth are these fucking landlords thinking? So I went down a rabbit hole and found a collection, yes, a collection of really shitty rentals that I want to discuss with you today. And before we get into this video, press subscribe, because for every subscriber that we get, a landlord defaults on their mortgage and they have to give up one of their 7 rental properties. And this first rental property that we have here is Ghost Town Bank converted into a home in Missouri. Now, when you think about like a bank being converted into an apartment, you think of like some really cool bank vault, old historical type building that has a lot of character, and you think to yourself, that sounds amazing. That's not what happens in Missouri, apparently, because this bank looks like it's from the 1800s, only because of all like the sheet iron on like the roof. I feel like back in the day, that's how they had their banks. Everything was just made out of like this weird like sheet material that could easily get blown over in a hurricane or a tornado, and then it was just passed down from generation to generation. And someone was like, yo, I know Airbnbs are really hot right now with converted things. Let's do this. And I just realized it's a ghost town bank. So not only is it really fucking old, you also might not have any neighbors at all, but you also run the risk of this ghost town bank being a part of like some amusement park type thing, and then, you know, you're just trying to go about your day-to-day routine and there's a bunch of tourists at the photos taking photos of you like an animal in a zoo. But this is definitely dude coded to the core. When like guys talk about just wanting to be left alone, you know, they go to the wilderness and they just want to be left alone from society, this is probably what they're picturing. Dudes will see this and say, hell yeah. This one is the toilets next to the kitchen without closed doors. Now, I think this is like a landlord special. You know, it's one of the tropes of landlords who just want to make a quick buck, because nothing here makes sense. Firstly, let's not talk about the toilet. Let's talk about the door at the kitchen. Why does a kitchen need a glass door? Why does any entrance to a kitchen need a door? I don't think any one of us have ever had a door to our kitchen. I'm looking at my kitchen right now. That's a living situation I'm currently having to deal with. I can understand, you know, the logic behind this. They're like, well, if we put one door here, that's going to be really bad for the other door for the kitchen. So let's just put up these sheer things, because if we put up the other door, then the 2 doors will collide. Instead of just taking off the door for the fucking kitchen. Actually, come to think of it, having a door for your kitchen is really good. So when you're cooking those last meals before your paycheck, we all know those meals, they're not the best, you know. It's kind of like whatever you can find in the pantry and the fridge, and you're just putting together what if you can to survive for your next paycheck. They put that door up, and it's probably soundproof too, so they can't hear your cries while you're cooking your 2-minute noodles. So this next one here is a charming 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, but they've clearly just converted half of the living space into a bedroom by putting a bunch of sheets up. I don't know why, but this has been super common to see over the last few years. People trying to convert living spaces into an extra bedroom just to pocket an extra like $500 a month. But the worst contender by far are the ones where it's like sharing a bedroom and they've just put a sheet up in the bedroom to divide it. I'm sorry, am I 5 years old sleeping with my brother again in the same room? No. That's not what we do as adults. I know you're trying to heal your inner child, but this is not the right way to do it. Speaking of, here is the extreme of that version. Here is a bed in a shared room with a cardboard box for a divider. Holy fuck. You know, we're all thinking it. What if you want to bring someone home and you're just like, you have to be really quiet because I share a room with someone, and they're like, oh, that's a little weird, but maybe we can make that work. And then they go into the bedroom and this is what they see. They're just like, oh, we're sharing. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know it's like 2 a.m. on a Saturday, but like, I think one of my family members is having a medical emergency. I just totally forgot about it. I just gotta leave real quick, okay? This one's crazy. Hallway balconies. I don't understand how this is a design choice. And there's doors as well, so it is functional. But why would you want to hang out in your hallway? I don't understand. This, judging by the roofing here, this looks like a converted office space, and then they thought this would be a great design choice for that. Oh, do you want to be reminded of your corporate job that you have? Well, when you come home, you can hang out on your hallway balcony and just be living in your work 24/7. Oh, you wanted natural light for your apartment? Well, we have something better. We have office LEDs that are really bright and they buzz a little bit all the time. Oh my god, this one's insane. Want to reenact Grey Gardens on a budget? And at first, when I saw this, I just thought they had brought in a lot of mud on their shoes. I don't know the situation. Closer inspection though, this is cat poop. Yeah, you want to pay $1,000 a month to live somewhere that had a whole bunch of cat shit all over the floor? We got a deal for you. Now this one hits close to home because it is close to my home. This is Point Roberts. If you don't know, it's a city that's near Vancouver that's actually in the States, and it's a little island that's like outside of British Columbia. I know I'm losing a lot of you right now because this isn't a geographical lesson. This is a comedy video, but I thought this was really great anyways. But this is a perfect example of boomers that have an investment property at Point Roberts. It's like their holiday home, and then during the pandemic, they couldn't get there, so it was just left for nature to overtake. And now they're just like, well, it's going to cost too much to demolish it, so how about we just try and rent it out? And then that way we can get all the money from that rental property, not to reinvest in that same property, but to buy another one. This one is like, but why? And it's just like a 3D floor plan of a really poorly designed apartment. The bathroom smack bang in the middle of the apartment. This is a perfect example of like finishing your assignment and realizing you forgot like a core part of it, and then you're just like rushing because you forgot to read the detailed questions, and you're like, oh, I forgot to include this one major component, let me just throw it in there last minute. That's the apartment version of that. It's one thing to have like those really annoying pillars in the middle of your apartment and you're just like, well, it's structural, so we can't get rid of it. It's another thing to have a whole ass bathroom in the middle of your apartment. You're just like, oh, don't mind me, I just gotta like walk around the bathroom again. Also, there is something really haunting about like, you know, sitting on the toilet or, you know, having a shower and just knowing that there's people walking around the bathroom all the time. That's just terrifying to me. This one is just like a private room for rent, and the reason why I thought this was great because this rental comes with a cuck chair, which honestly, that's amazing. I think every apartment should come with a cuck chair in the corner. If hotels can have it, so can rentals. This one's just like converted to bachelor pad. I know exactly what happened here. It was a couple who bought an investment property and then she lost it in a divorce, and this guy was like, you know what, I always hated those fucking cabinets, so I'm gonna do it my way, and then I'm gonna charge double the rent. Again, dudes will see shit like this and they will say, hell yeah. I love that they even included like the RGB lighting under the cabinets. This dude is like a gamer to his core. This guy was like, my dumb ex-wife never let me play COD, so now that's my whole personality. Yo, this one's crazy. Having a bath that close to your bed is insanity. I actually stayed in like a historical hotel and they had a similar setup. Like the bath was right near the bed, and it was fun because it was like this cool little like whimsical getaway sort of thing. This is just terrifying, but also I can see how dudes again would see this and say, hell yeah, because this is efficiency. Get out of your bed and you shower and you don't even have to take a single step. You can take a step from your bed to your shower. Those optimized dudes that wake up at 5 a.m. and have a crazy schedule, they would love this kind of shit. This one is a ready to go Facebook rental find in a tiny drug town. Now, I will say these photos are pretty nuts, if walls could talk, right? I actually used to live next to a house that was in like a pretty bad neighborhood, and we've been to that house before because we used to have parties there, and yeah, it's a very similar layout to this, unfortunately. It makes you think as an adult, yeah, imagine trying to sell that as like a rental after everyone had left the place. And I remember our rental was pretty bad, but I would say, oh, it's not as bad as their place. And only a couple of years ago, I went to find the rental online because I was just curious as to what the place looked like. My bedroom had bars in the window, okay? It was way worse than I thought it was. I think that's enough rental finding for one day, because I went on a journey of discovering how bad the rental market actually is. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys liked and commented, subscribed, blow this bitch up, because I want this channel to get so big that I can just buy a place and I don't have to worry about finding a rental ever again. I can't say the same about you though.